The mics are back on, and welcome to Radio Entrepreneurs. My name is Jeffrey Davis. And as I've said a few times, we're getting close to 1 million people who have connected with our show over the last few years. I want to thank you very much. Entrepreneurship's still alive and well, especially here in Massachusetts, where the bulk of our listeners are. I also want to thank our host, MTP Software, who houses us, and they are the leader in the sports CRM. Thank you very much, Frank Sincata. Our next guest, many times on our show, the whole family, pieces of the family. This time it's one piece of the family. Ben Grossman, co-president, Grossman Marketing, and SwagCycle. That's a new name for me. Welcome.
Thank you, Jeffrey. I'm thrilled to be here today.
Great. Thank you very much. Grossman Marketing, 110 years old. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the history of the firm, and then we'll get into the swag.
Sure. So Grossman Marketing Group, we're headquartered in Somerville, Massachusetts. We're a fourth-generation family business. My great-grandfather founded the company in 1910 as a company called Massachusetts Envelope Company. And I run the business now with my older brother, David. And we rebranded as Grossman Marketing Group about 15 years ago in recognition of the fact that we do a lot of different business products for a lot of different companies in a lot of different regions of the country. So our main business line at this point is branded merchandise. We're actually one of the largest promotional products companies in the Northeast. We still do quite a bit of print and print management and direct mail. We have a graphic design agency as part of our business, and the fastest growing part of our organization is our e-commerce services division.
Promotional products. Now, so many products come to mind, and I love promotional products, and I like gifts. But are you making any of them, or are they all the companies that you're sort of sourcing out products?
The latter. So we work with excellent factories that adhere to stringent fair labor standards, ethical sourcing, responsible manufacturing. We work with factories around the country as well as around the globe to help our clients put their logos on the right products at the right time, at the right price, to get it in the hands of their customers.
Now, I think a lot of people are in this business. They're sort of a cottage business, ankle biters working out of their houses. So it's very competitive. How do you stick out and make your name? Especially 110 years, there's obviously something you're doing right. So can you give us a little bit of that secret?
Sure. So our North Star, since my great-grandfather founded the business in 1910, has been service. And he had a saying, our prices make friends, our service keeps them. And we have never forgotten where we came from. And we have a laser-like focus on client service and execution. And we know that if someone wants to potentially work with our organization, we need to wrap our arms around them and make the process easy and smooth for them so they don't have to worry if a product is delivering on time. Did we stick to the instructions? Did everything come out correctly? We take care of all those issues for them, and as a result, they take care of us.
And you've scaled up the business, so you don't just work with small companies. You've worked with some very large organizations, which says something also about what you can do.
Yeah, so we work with a number of Fortune 500 organizations. We manage large inventory management programs for companies. So these would be e-commerce programs where if you're a salesperson for a large insurance company and you're in the field and you want to go meet with a client or prospect and bring them golf balls or a water bottle, an umbrella as a gift, you would log on through the intranet at the company you work for, and we have software that punches out to our e-commerce portals that are all custom built. We have a number of developers on staff in Massachusetts, actually. And when a person at one of these companies places an order, the order gets picked, packed, and fulfilled out of one of our warehouses by a member of our staff. So we control that whole value chain.
Now, I hope you don't mind if I ask you a family business question as well.
Sure.
You know, I do a lot of family business consulting, as you know, and it's not unusual that someone of your parents' father's age would be run by a singular male individual, and next generation is not run by a singular person, and you're sharing the mantle with your brother. And it seems, at least from arm's length, that the transition went smooth. Can you talk a little bit about what people need to learn about how to make the transition properly? Because it's something I talk to people about every day.
Sure. So first of all, communication, clear communication to ensure that everyone's on the same page. it worked out for me and my brother that we both wanted to work together, and we were ready at a time when our father.
You embraced each other and liked each other.
We did, and we talk a lot when we talk a lot about making sure your interests are aligned with those of your partner. And it's not just in business; it's also in life. If you have a spouse or partner at home, you want to make sure that you're on the same page, that your interests are aligned. And for my brother and I, we want the same thing. We want to build a good company. We want to create a excellent workplace for our colleagues, and we want to make a good living, and we want to invest in that next generation and the communities around us. And we're really focused on the same priorities, and as a result, we never really have a significant disagreement. And we generally, if one of us feels more strongly about a specific situation, we generally go with the person who has more passion and more intuition for that specific challenge that we're talking about at the time.
It sounds like the company, service, mission-driven company, values-driven relationship, trust, communication. It seems like you're really knocking off all the principles that the management books have been stressing for since the Industrial Revolution.
Well, thank you. I mean, we've learned a lot from those who've come before us. My father, Steve, ran the business until he was elected state treasurer of Massachusetts, and he ran the business for 35 years, grew the business significantly. Before that, it was our grandfather Edgar and his brother Jerry, and before that was our great grandfather Max. And we also have the benefit of working with my dad's two sisters, Mary Ellen and Amy, who work in senior roles in the business as well.
So now we'll go on.
Along with my grandmother, who's
the real boss, probably.
She is the real boss, and still comes in for, 2 days a week to lend a hand to help us collect money. And as my dad likes to say, you don't want to owe Shirley Grossman money.
I understand that. My dad taught me how to collect money, and people don't like me collecting it. They always go, you don't want Jeffrey calling you for money. So SwagCycle, what's that? That's a whole new thing?
Yeah, so earlier this summer, we launched a service called SwagCycle, and it's focused on responsibly managing the life cycle of branded merchandise. So what that means is I have found personally, and we have found in our company, that when an organization rebrands, when they change their logo, when there's an acquisition, when they finish up a marketing campaign, oftentimes at the end of that, there's a lot of leftover inventory. Swag, water bottles, pens, notepads, t-shirts, tote bags, etc. And oftentimes, those products may find their way to a landfill. And that's not because the client doesn't care about the environment. It's more that they're so busy focused on that rebrand and executing on the objectives of their organization that once they finish with the rebrand, the leftover goods, they get sort of moved aside. And sometimes companies will give them out to employees, sometimes they give them to charity, but often, unfortunately, some products end up in a landfill. And I've been very active in environmental issues for a number of years, and I wanted to develop a freestanding service that could address this problem industry-wide. And so we came up with the idea of SwagCycle. And what that is we will help an organization, with their leftover goods, either pair it with an appropriate charity to
gift it.
Yep, to gift it to have an impact in the community. But if a company needs to ensure that those products don't remain in the marketplace once their brand changes, then we'll work with a member of our network of recycling partners to keep the items out of a landfill. The key phrase is landfill divergence. We have a significant waste problem in this country and around the world, and so the goal is not to fill landfills. That's not the solution. The goal is to keep the items out of landfills, hopefully make an impact in the community, but if a company needs to remove those goods, make sure we responsibly manage that life cycle and ensure that they get recycled in an ethical and responsible way.
So if I was running a company and I had closets filled with old gifts and I didn't buy them from you, could I still call you and use the services of Swag?
Yes. So we've already done that, actually, where we helped one situation, we helped an organization where they didn't buy these T-shirts from us, but they had a number of T-shirts with a misprint on them that they did with another vendor. They had a quote on the shirts that was incorrect, and they wanted to so those had to be removed from the marketplace, but they were hoping that they wouldn't end up in a landfill. And so we actually worked with a company that shreds the shirts and turns them into things like painter's rags that you see sold in Home Depot, or rags that boat builders use to hand stain the wood on boats. We also have recycling partners that can turn those shirts into fiber that get put into carpet pads, get recycled and turned into yarn again to be put into another t-shirt down the line. And so we have a number of ways that we can address those
I think
challenges.
that's great. The place I buy my running shoes and my shoes from, mostly running shoes, they take all my old running shoes back and they send them to Africa.
Yeah.
So they don't get shoes in a landfill.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And we've been thrilled. We helped another major educational organization. They had leftover water bottles.
You see a lot of those.
Yeah, really high quality BPA-free metal water bottles. And they were done with them. They had an old marketing message. But so we asked them if it would be okay if we donated them to charity. And they said yes. And we were able to donate half to the Boys and Girls Clubs in Boston to give out to summer camp students this summer around the greater Boston area, and the other half went to the United Way in Boston. They were given out at an event at the Reggie Lewis Center in late July.
You know, it's really nice that if I would have talked to your father 30 years ago, I would have heard about a mission-driven company that wanted to do more than just make money. They wanted to do the right thing by people. And what you're telling me is that core mission of how to use business to still do the right thing by people is still what drives you.
It is. We want to do well by doing good. And when our colleagues at our company, we try to create a workplace where we try to treat people the way we'd want a family member to be treated in a workplace, and that helps us retain an excellent team for many, many years. And we find that doing business in the right way resonates with our clients and resonates in the community, and also makes us feel good, and it has an impact, and we're proud of that.
Great. For those listening, we are speaking to Ben Grossman, co-president, Grossman Marketing and SwagCycle. Ben, if someone's looking for you in either one of those companies, how would they find you?
Sure. So they can find me on Twitter at @BIGrossman. They can also, if they wanted to reach out about SwagCycle, they could shoot me an email, ben@swagcycle.net. And if they want to read more about SwagCycle specifically, they can go to swagcycle.net. And then, of course, our company, Grossman Marketing, is grossmanmarketing.com.
Now, Ben, can we get you to come back and bring just a series of products, put them all over the table and do another interview?
I'd be honored. Thank you.
Because we like to show some stuff. I mean, it's not that you're, so bad, but we'd rather show the product. We'd rather surround you with product.
Products are more fun than me, I understand. So.
Yeah, so we'd like to show the toys to everybody and
Yep.
get a variety of toys on the table. I will blame our producer for not asking you for them right up front, not thinking of that.
Sure.
So he's so concerned with booking you, he probably didn't think of that. So thanks for being
Thank
on the
you.
show today, and
Appreciate it.
we're gonna book the next one. We have a commitment right here from everybody.
Perfect.
Great.
Thank you very
Remind
much.
everybody, this is Radio Entrepreneurs.